Hello, everybody. Just going to wait a couple more minutes for anybody that's having trouble just joining. So please bear with us, and we'll start. We'll start shortly. Okay, we'll start. It's a couple of minutes past 1 o'clock. So welcome everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. For those I've not met before, I'm Paul Edwards. I'm the Chief Executive here at CHP. And before I continue, please note this session is being recorded and will be made available on our website for other customers who can't be with us today to view. So by continuing to participate, you're giving your consent to be recorded. So I'm going to start by talking through our proposals, and then I'll hand over to you to hear your views and answer any questions you may have. While we really value all of your questions, we'd really like to focus today on the merger related topics during this session. If you have any questions and issues relating to your home or tenancy, please contact us separately by calling us on our main number 0300 555 0500 or by emailing us at inquiries@chp.org.uk. Alternatively, if you're comfortable and want to do so, please stay out at the end of this session and we can take your details and make sure we get back to you. We've set aside plenty of time for your questions at the end of this presentation. To ask a question, please raise your hand by selecting the hand icon at the top of the screen, and we'll answer your questions in the order of the hands raised. I will then enable your microphone so you'll be able to unmute to ask your question. If you don't want to come on screen and talk, you can submit your question by typing it into the Q&A box that hopefully you can find. Just click on the Q&A icon, which should be located depending on your device at the top of your screen. And to show your support for anyone else's questions, simply click the arrow to upvote it. So today's session is part of a suite of events online and in person, part of our formal consultation, which runs for 7 weeks until Friday, the 24th of October. I really want to hear from as many customers as possible during this consultation process. Your feedback will be shared with our board and with Estuary's board to help them decide whether to proceed with the merger. I hope that today's session will give you the information that you need to respond to the short survey that you should have received when the consultation opened on the 8th of September, and there'll also be a QR code and a link to the survey shared during this presentation. So let's talk for a few minutes about Estuary Housing Association. For those that don't know of Estuary, they have around 4,500 homes, mainly like us, social and affordable rent with some leasehold, some market rent and some supported housing. They're focused in South Essex with operations stretching into East London and Suffolk. Their head office is in Southend, where they have the majority of their homes. CHP and Estuary are comparable in many ways, not least our shared geography. We also have similar ambitions for the future, similar values and a similar culture. Our performance is also comparable. The regulator of social housing, our regulator, requires all housing associations to carry out surveys of their customers through what are known as the tenant satisfaction measures, the TSMs. I'm sure many of you on this call will have been asked for your opinions of CHP over the last couple of years. As a reminder, you can read our TSM results on our website, and Estuary also publish theirs on their website, should you wish to look at them. And you'll see from ours and Estuary's results that our performance is similar in most areas. And that was really important to us when considering a merger partner, as we want to make sure our customers continue to receive a positive experience. If the merger goes ahead, the proposal is for Estuary to undertake what's called a transfer of engagements to CHP. That's the legal term by which we would form a larger unified organisation with a new name. This means that Estuary Homes would transfer into CHP and would become a single organisation. So why are we considering the merger? Both CHP and Estuary have recognised the growing challenges across the housing sector and the importance of continuing to invest in customer service, in the quality of our existing homes, and meeting housing need across Essex with more new affordable homes. Through detailed discussions, it's become really clear that the proposed merger between CHP and Estuary represents an exciting opportunity to bring together two locally focused, forward-thinking and well-respected organisations to achieve positive outcomes for current and future customers that we'll serve. By coming together, we could create something new, built on the best of both organisations, a new organisation that's stronger, more resilient, shares similar values and goals, and is better equipped to serve the people of Essex now and into the future. But what about any disadvantages to the proposal? So from the work that we've done in exploring the merger so far, we don't think there are any disadvantages to our proposal as we bring a new organisation that can deliver more in the long term. I recognise, though, that in the short term, it might feel there's a small risk of disruption to the level of service you'll receive from us. And of course, we know it will take some time and resources to bring the people, services and systems of both organisations together. And we'll be doing this in a way that maintains existing service delivery and minimises disruption. So the integration, the process of coming together, is a key part of our early discussions. And it's important that we build something stronger, more resilient, an organisation that can do more for existing customers and more and homes and create greater capacity for housing in Essex. Over the longer term, we believe that a merged organisation would help us improve services and result in an even better customer experience. So what does the merger mean for you? And as an existing customer, I want to reassure you that very little will change, and we want you to continue to enjoy your home as you currently do. So your right to live in your home would stay the same. If you rent your home, the terms of your tenancy would stay the same, and this includes rents and service charges, which will stay the same, except for the annual increase that takes place each year and is made in line, as all housing associations do, with guidance set by the government. If you're a shared owner or a leaseholder, the terms of your lease and the services you receive will also stay the same. So the consultation has been open for about 10 days or so now, and I just want to focus now on some of the key feedback themes so far. So on the slide on the screen, these are the themes that we've received to date, and it's possible that these are some of the areas that you're concerned about and may want to ask about today. So I'll go into each of these in a bit more detail. So as a theme, people saying to us that bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. Absolutely right, but being bigger does give us opportunities that wouldn't otherwise be available to us. So we'd have greater financial capacity to invest in our existing and future homes and services, as well as access to a larger, more experienced workforce from both the CHP and Estuary teams. And we would also adopt and build on the best practices from both organisations. Another theme is that people are saying to us that in some instances they think that CHP is not very good and this might make things worse. And it's really important to me that I want you to enjoy living in your home. We always aim to get things right first time, but I recognise that isn't always the case. From the work that we've been doing over the last few months, looking at a merger, we believe that coming together services would stay the same or get better. I'd really encourage you to continue to raise issues where this is not the case in your home and tell us where we get things wrong. We listen to what customers tell us and learn from our mistakes to improve things, and that wouldn't change if we merge. On the other hand, some customers are telling us that CHP is currently really good and the merger could undermine that position. So first of all, I'm really pleased that that's your experience and you like living in your home and get a good service from us. I believe that the proposed merger will help deliver a positive service to more customers and help us meet housing need across Essex. Another theme coming through so far is that Estuary's reputation is poor, and they fear that this may negatively impact CHP. That, as with any service provider, there'll be people who are really happy with the service they receive and people that won't be. It's not right for me to comment on Estuary's performance specifically, but as you've already mentioned, their performance is comparable to ours across the board. And like us, Estuary use feedback from their customers to help improve its services. And the final theme that's come through so far, this may be a strategy to raise rents or service charges. This absolutely is not the case. If you rent your home, as I said just now, the terms of your tenancy would stay the same. And this includes rents and service charges, which would stay the same except for the annual increase that takes place and is set by government guidance each year for all housing associations. And if you're a shared owner or a leaseholder, the terms of your lease and the services you receive will stay the same. So through this consultation process today and the rest of the next few weeks, we really want to hear from you. And so as you can see, our consultation runs until Friday the 24th of October. And I really hope that by the end of today's session, you'll have heard enough to help answer any questions that you may have to enable you to contribute to that consultation. So please do take the time when you're ready to complete the short survey that should have been emailed to you to share your views, which along with other feedback and customer engagement will help our board consider the proposed merger. We'll update our frequently asked questions, or FAQs, on our website throughout the consultation based on the feedback we've received and will continue to receive. So please do check back there, as we're really keen to make sure that we can answer any questions that you may have. If you want to, you can also scan the QR code that's on the screen at the moment with your smartphone, and it should take you directly to that survey. Your feedback will be shared with our board and with Estuary's board, along with other customer feedback, and help boards understand what matters to customers and help them consider the proposed merger. So you've heard quite a bit from me already. So before we move on to the Q&A session, I'd like to introduce Rachel Hadley, our Deputy Chief Executive, who's going to answer some of your questions alongside me. So now it's over to you, and Rachel, you can help me with this to see if anybody would like to ask a question or look at those on the Q&A on the screen.
Absolutely. Thanks, Paul. And hi, everyone. As Paul said, my name is Rachel Hadley. We have a question from one of the people online. I think that's Nicola. Nicola, if you'd like to take yourself off mute and pose your question to us.
Yeah, hi there. Thank you for holding this today. I'm balancing my phone in my hand, so if it looks like I'm wobbly, it's not me, it's the phone. I live in an estate in South Essex. So the estate is property managed broadly by Firstport. I'm sure an organisation that you're well aware of. My block and another block, the actual blocks within are managed by CHP. Now, this can already be a little bit complicated when reporting issues. My main points that I want to make, and I will ask a question around this, is that when the ownership was transferred from L&Q to CHP approximately 4 months ago, when I raised an issue with a Firstport representative because the issue is being caused by a Firstport resident, I was referred back to L&Q, and when I told Firstport that L&Q don't manage this block anymore, they were completely unaware. So my question is, how will this change, this merger, be effectively communicated where other property managers are part of our daily lives? I have no connection to Firstport apart from I'm surrounded by people that live under their management, but I have no control over whether they're parking or dumping rubbish in our rubbish area, bin store, which happens regularly. I have to go through my property manager. So a bit of a woolly question there. I appreciate it. Let me tighten that up. How will that be communicated effectively to prevent that happening going forward, because I too want to live in a nice environment, and I do a lot in my local community to encourage that, but it's not always met with welcomed arms by necessarily other residents or property managers.
Brilliant. Thanks, Nicola. Thanks for being the brave person that went first as well. So, Paul, I think the theme of Nicola's questions, as she said, is around effective communications when there are multiple parties involved.
Yeah, thank you. And sorry you've had that experience. It should not have been a surprise to First Port that the home's transferred from L&Q to CHP. And sorry that's happened there. It is really important, and your estate will be like many others that CHP and Estuary own, where there are management companies involved. You've got more experience of First Port than I have, but I've also worked with others. Some are great at communication, and some are really hard to get into and talk to. We'll make every effort, if the boards approve the merger, to make sure that we're talking to all of our managing agents, being really clear of the transfer of ownership and the importance of good communication in there. This should be slightly different because Estuaries and CHP's homes coming together into one. It'll be kind of two halves of the same coin, if that kind of makes sense. But your point is also really important, because I'm sure that in our future, whether we're at CHP or through the merger, things like the L&Q stock transfer when you came to us will happen again. So that's a really important point, to make sure that we pick that back up. And I'd really like to pick up a conversation if that continues to be difficult with where you're living with First Port, that we try and crack that directly with them, because it's important to me and all my colleagues that the service you're getting from us as a landlord is that your lives are made easier, as well as sometimes it's harder when there's management companies involved too.
I absolutely agree, and thank you for answering that, sort of complicitly and quite encouragingly as well. I have actually had previously spoken to L&Q and spoken to First Port, and I came along to one of your sessions that was on locally when you were taking over. And I mean, I will stand by it that communication and engaging with residents is the only way, and it might not be it's not through letters, it's not through something on a notice board, it's about actually setting up community events and getting that engagement, because we're all in the same bucket. We're all living in a bucket, and we have to
Nicola,
make it
if I
as good
can,
as possible.
And again, thank you for the question. I know my colleagues, some of whom might be on the call but not on screen, would love to pick up a conversation with you, as well as I think about how we expand those methods of working with customers across the board. So we'd be delighted to pick up that conversation with you too.
More than welcome.
Everyone's just a bit for my screen, Rachel.
No, you're fine. It's all good. Thanks, Nicola. Our next question is from Myrna. Myrna, if you want to unmute yourself and pose us your question.
Yeah,
lovely to see you today.
Yeah, nice to see you both again.
Hello.
I am a CHP tenant at the moment. I have quite a list of concerns, but I won't go through all of them today. One or two have been answered by a previous person. I'm very concerned about how is CHP going to manage all the maintenance that is going to come extra. The time that's allowed for these maintenances, I personally have just experienced one that's taken 3 months. I'm concerned that you've struggled to cope with the stock you've got now. How are you going to avoid this and be able to keep on top of all these repairs? I'm also concerned about staff and staff jobs. The merger, who's going to come, who's going to go, who's going to stay. I hear through the grapevine that maintenance staff are not happy, that there's going to be a lot of changes to their hours and their pay, etc., etc. I don't know. Can you give me some reassurances that the staff are going to be looked after, that we're still going to have a board of directors that are worth having, and that people are going to, are we going to take on board members from their side as well as our own? There's a multiple of things that I am concerned about.
Thanks for that, Myrna. hopefully I've got a note of all of those, but if you want to
Yeah.
come back in again if I missed them. So
Okay.
Paul, there's
That's fine.
something there about repairs and managing an increased volume of repairs. And there are some questions there around staff as well. So I don't know if you want to start with the repairs bit, and then maybe I'll pop in on the staff element.
Yeah, the repairs would be good, because I've not experienced so many good ones just lately.
Yeah, thank you for your question, and nice to see you again, Myrna. It's been a little
Yeah.
while, and I'm sorry you've not had a good experience lately with repairs. That's not what I like to hear. And if there's anything you want to pick up with me separately, let's do that. It's really important that we have a repair service that is clear and transparent to all our customers, and we deliver that.
Definitely.
And that is certainly always the aim. It's one of the key factors that our boards are considering, the expansion of our repair service. One of the key differences between CHP and Estuary is we have a predominantly in-house repairs team. We always have. I think that's the best way to run a repair service. I really value the fact that we have that. It means that when we get things wrong, we can fix it quite quickly, and we've got our brilliant colleagues out and about in our communities that can do more than just delivering repairs. On the contrary, Estuary at the moment predominantly outsource their repair service to a third-party contractor, and part of the vision will be to expand carefully over time an increased in-house repairs service as part of the new organisation. I mentioned earlier during the slides about whilst we don't see any long-term disadvantages to coming together, but being a bigger, more resilient organisation, we should be able to deliver better services for more current and future customers. Our boards are really resolutely focused and holding me and our exec teams to account for making sure that during that short term, as we if we come together as we expand the repair service, that it does two things at once. It improves the service for everybody whilst not diminishing the service for CHP's current customers, and that will be a real focus of the new organisation. It's a hugely important part of why I think CHP is brilliant, is the fact that we've got a repairs team that do deliver. I appreciate that's not your recent experience, Myrna, and certainly I'm sorry about that. Rachel, do you want to pick up the staff and the pay one, and I'll come back then to board.
Absolutely. So Manu, it's lovely to hear your concern for our staff. I know that many customers have raised that with us. And like today's opportunity to consult with customers, we're taking every opportunity to also to connect with our employees, to give them a chance to raise any questions they might have with us, and to give them as much reassurance as we are able to do in answer to those questions. In fact, just this week we had an all-employee event in which we had a number of questions that were merger related. So we are endeavouring to make sure that our employees are also reassured about both our intention and the expected impact on that. And in fact, for many of our staff working in areas, particularly those that are customer focused, we don't anticipate anything other than growth in the requirements. So I don't think that should be a primary concern for those customers, those employees that you're in contact with, or at least I hope it's not. We'll continue to have those conversations with our employees, including providing them with many more opportunities to raise concerns with us. And at the moment, none of those themes that have been raised with us are about pay. So I will make sure that we pick that up with people, because that isn't a plan for us going forward either. So thanks for highlighting that to us. We will, of course, go through a process of appointing a revised exec team and board team. And I'm sure over time, like there often are, there'll be changes in who's the person you happen to see about something. But the intent is very much to ensure that we have the resources we need to manage the services. Paul, I don't know if you want to pick up specifically on board.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think you just touched on it there, Rachel, with the sharing positions. When we started the discussions about exploring a merger, both boards agreed a terms of reference for how we would do business if we came together, and part of that, Myrna, was drawing a merged board from both existing boards. And as you'd expect us to do, because I think our board are excellent, and of course Estuary's are also very good too. So to bring together the right skills and experiences from both boardrooms to make sure that if we proceed, that the first board for the merged organisation is drawn from the best of both sides, if that makes sense. Thank you, Mandy, for your question.
Thank you.
No worries. Cheers. The next question that we've got, Paul, is from an attendee called Bowler. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If you are comfortable to unmute yourself and you can pose us the question that you have.
Thank you very much, Rachel. By the way, you did fantastic with that. That's perfect. Okay. Hi, thank you, guys. Actually, so my name is Bola. I live in a block of flats in South Ockenden, New. That was built in 2019. It's a very small block of flats. It's 5 units in the entire block. It's been great. It's been lovely. However, I discovered about 3 years ago that my registration, land registry, was still outstanding. So because I wanted to staircase, I'm one of the shared ownership leaseholders, because I had planned to staircase at the time, and so I found out, and it's been 4 years now since then. Various communications with different people in your offices, your office, as well as my solicitor, and nothing has been resolved till date. So over the last 4 years, it's been very stressful. And I purposely joined this meeting because I wanted to express that my issue, the problems I'm having, because I can't staircase, I can't sell, I can't do nothing. I don't even have a document to say I am a part holder of the flat that I've been paying for the past 6 years. And the last communication I received was like, is a boundary issue. There was a boundary issue with the next, the opposite flat, and we are doing everything we can to help you. We've even had to pay for a new solicitor because the previous solicitor company, this is CHP telling me this, by the way, the previous solicitor we're using, we no longer use them. We've had to pay for a barrister. And I felt like they're trying to make me feel as though I should be grateful for trying to do the right thing, what should have been done from the beginning, because before you sell a property, you should know if there are any issues. And I do take on board that equally. My career solicitor should have done the proper checks as well. Those are all of the things that both parties should have looked at. However, now I'm stuck.
Lola, thank you. Thanks for...
very unhappy.
Yeah,
I'm trying to find my words, but very unhappy.
I certainly would be too, and I'm really sorry that's the experience you've had. I know as an organisation we have had delays with land registry registering items, but that isn't your fault, and we should be working with you to make sure that that's resolved. I'm really sorry that's taken so long. I think we've got enough from there to make sure that Rachel and I can ensure the teams get back on that case and work with you to try and find a resolution. Of course, you're right. If you've bought the first part of your home with us on shared ownership, it should be then easy to continue that staircasing journey. And if there are delays, they certainly shouldn't be lasting more than a few months, not 4 years. So I'm sorry the experience you've had. And I know we're on a kind of on a recorded call now, but I think we've got enough info there so we can get back with the team and get back in touch with you to see what we can do to unlock that and ensure that you can purchase the next part of your home.
Paula, if you're happy to add your surname in the chat, then we'll make sure we definitely have the right customer. That would be really great. Hopefully you've got a chat button. If you've not, then please do hang around and we'll get it from you when we've not got the wider audience. Paul, that's the end of our hands.
I'll put my full name because I'm at work.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We do have one other question that was in the published Q&A. So if anyone is following along for that, if you click on the Q&A button at the top of your screen, the Q&A section will open. And there's a question in here around some of the feedback themes that were shared earlier, specifically the one around being bigger doesn't necessarily mean better. So if we're already reasonably large as a housing association, especially compared to S3, do we really need to merge?
Yeah, great question, and thank you for that one, Fiona. So the short answer is no, we absolutely don't need to merge. So neither CHP nor Estuary are in any kind of trouble or need to be rescued. Two well-run, locally focused housing associations. So as we've already said, sorry, we think that being a bigger organisation by coming together would give us new and different opportunities, and not least the more financial resilience to make sure we can invest more, not only in building more new affordable homes, which are really needed, of course, but also in our existing homes and the services we provide. So just the avoidance of doubt there, Fiona. It's not a case of needing to come together. It's a case of thinking that if we come together and we create a larger organisation, we can do more for our joint current and future customers too. I hope that answers the question there.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to pop their hand up and raise a question in person? Or if you would prefer, add a question to the Q&A section. No? Should I give everyone like 30 seconds to think about it a little bit more?
There we go. We've got two more now. Oh, three.
Excellent. Brilliant. So Yasmin, I don't have your surname, I'm afraid, but you were the first one to pop your hand up. If you're happy to take your mic off mute.
Yeah, hi Rachel, thank you so much. So I live in Chelmsford and you guys have only recently taken over a few months ago. Excuse me, I've had a letter. I know that my neighbours have had it as well, but we already owe you more money because you've underestimated what the service costs were going to be for the year. I understand that can happen, but how do we owe you money when, one, you've only just taken over? I've also contacted your customer service, like the email address that was on the letter, and I know what a neighbour has as well, and neither of us have had a reply. So my question first is, how long does it take to get a response? And two, can you explain sort of, if you guys estimate how much we have to pay for our service charge, how is it our fault that you underestimated? But I also don't quite understand because it was L&Q that we've been paying for this time. So yeah, sorry if I'm missing something, but if you could explain it. I can see Nicola nodding as well, so I don't think this is probably just me. Yeah, cheers, Nicola. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for taking the question, Rachel and Paul. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think you might be a tiny bit more expert about service charges than me.
I certainly wouldn't profess to be an expert on service charges. And Yasmin, thank you for asking the question. And it sounds like that Nicola also has had the similar kind of experiences. I don't have those reasons to hand, but instinctively, I think you're absolutely right, Yasmin. That certainly, as you've transferred from being, I think, an ex-L&Q tenant to CHP, as we've taken on those homes, the theory should, of course, run that absolutely the rent is set and doesn't change, or the service charges don't change overnight from what you've had to what you've got now. So I will check back in with the team. It sounds like it's not just an individual one, but across the board as to the reasons why that's changed, and make sure that we are really clear with you on that. Again, I'm sorry that you've not had a response from our teams and emails, and we will check that and make sure we get back to you too. Sorry, that's the experience you've had. And we will make sure that we get back to you and explain the position more thoroughly, if that makes sense.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. Yeah, to be honest, I was really looking forward to you guys taking over because with L&Q, we had nothing but problems. At one point, I was locked in my flat because the main door was broken. And I rung them, again, this isn't your fault, I rung them and they told me to go for a walk. You know, so when I found out someone was taken over, I was like, yay, but I mean, the first contact I've had from you that I owe you money, I'm just like, oh no.
That's not the experience you want,
exactly.
Is it? Of course.
And again, I'm shared ownership, so it's not just as easy to give a month's notice and move out or to sell up or whatever. You know, like we do these things because we've not made the money. I mean, if I had loads of money and I could afford the extra that you guys are asking for, I would be buying somewhere outright. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, of course.
I appreciate your empathy, but yeah, I mean, surely there's got to be like a response time and an email's responded to, you know. I don't think even an hour, if it's 24, 48 hours or something, like I'm reasonable,
Yeah.
but just like, oh no, because I'm like, are you just going to take the money straight from my account and then, you know?
You're right. We do have an obligation and a response time to get back to customers. So no response is not what we should be here to do. But that's what's happened in your instance. And again, I'm sorry on that, and we'll check that through. Your point around your excitement, which we seem to have dampened, of moving from L&Q to CHP, that's something that's really important to me and our team and the estuary teams, is the importance of being a locally based, locally focused landlord, and that's something that kind of goes in our DNA. We will get back to you on the shared ownership point on service charges, and ensure that we're better at responding in the future.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and my surname's Marshall, if you need to.
Thank you.
Oh,
note that
thanks,
down.
Yasmin. That would have been my next question.
You preempted Rachel's question. Thanks, Edwin.
And also,
Yeah.
Bola, if you wouldn't mind adding something in the Q&A so that the team can pick up and check your surname as well, that would be really great. Just add any question. That would be super. Really appreciate it. Our next question, Paul, is from Emma Fade. Again, I hope I've got that pronunciation reasonably close. If you're happy to take yourself off mute, Emma, and ask us your question. You're still showing as mute for me, so if you find the mic-shaped button at the top of your screen. I can't hear Emma's question, Paul. I don't know if that's just me.
No, I can't. Should we come back to Emma if we can?
Absolutely. Myrna was next to pop her hand up. Myrna, again, I can't hear you and it's showing as mute for me. I do hope I've not messed something up technically. Can you see your mic button?
Not working.
Yes,
No,
yeah,
that's
good,
working.
good.
Yeah,
You're
We're
on.
good. We're good.
We've got you. Emma, we'll come back to you, I promise. Myrna, what's your question?
I actually got through by pressing the one on my screen showing me rather than the one at the top.
Okay.
Just in case
Thank
that
you.
helps.
Top technical tip from Myrna there.
Yeah. I'm just concerned about the financial cost of all this, to CHP and the other company. Also the cost of it to tenants. Will it mean our rents will increase? Because I'm obviously, like everybody else, very aware of the cost of living crisis that we're all in at the moment. And, you know, how are you going to explain all this to the tenants? How are you going to reassure us that this is not going to happen, or that we're only going to get the normal annual increase? It's partly, as Yasmin said, you know, you've now asked her for more money. Money can't be magicked into people's pockets. We're all in a crisis here, you know, and everybody needs help and support. How that sort of thing emerges, I've no idea, because it should not emerge. Yeah, you're a company of a great knowledge and great experience, and that to me should not have happened. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Myrna. Thanks for coming back with that question. I also agree, back to Yasmin's question, that shouldn't have happened, and we will respond and make sure that we rectify that. So yeah, I think you answered two questions there about what's the cost of coming together, and also what's the impact on customers. So I'll answer the second one first, which is kind of will my rents and service charges change? And I'll go back to what I said at the start. No, your rents and service charges won't change as a direct result of the merger. Rent and service charges will continue to be reviewed each year in the same way they are now, and where you are a social housing tenant, the current protections over how much your rent can increase year on year, which is set out by the government direction and overseen by the regulator of social housing, will continue whether we merge or not. Your first question was kind of what's the cost of coming together, and as you can imagine, bringing to lots of IT systems together, to lots of employee bases together. That isn't cost free, but I make the point that I said at the start that over the medium to longer term, by coming together and getting through the integration of the two businesses and delivering that well in the first couple of years, both boards are looking at a business case which shows there's more financial capacity through the integration period, more financial capacity to deliver both more new affordable homes in the county than we could have done if we don't merge separately, if that makes sense. And also, I really want to finish writing the business case to boards, which shows that we can increase the pace of investment in the sustainability of some of our homes, for example. So more investment in new affordable homes, and an increased ability to invest in both ours and Estuary's current stock. I hope that answers your question there, Myrna.
Thank you, Paul. Emma, I know you've popped in our Q&A that you're in an open plan area, so you can't talk out loud. But if there is a particular question that you wanted to add to the Q&A, I can pick that one up shortly, unless you want to have another go at unmuting. No, let's assume it's a noisy office. So our next question is from someone called Chris. I don't have your surname, I'm afraid, Chris, but if you want to take yourself off mute, either at the top of the screen, which would be my tech advice, or Myrna's tech advice, something else, as a microphone shown on your screen. Suspense.
Just while we're waiting for Chris, I can see Emma's full question typed into the Q&A, Rachel, around us not being as accessible as we could be for getting more involved. So Emma talks about being prevented from attending meetings that have been in person only and in late afternoon. So absolutely, Emma, I'm sorry that experience you've had. We are considering, as you suggested, more other ways of being involved, more hybrid and online meetings. It's really important to my colleagues who are working on this that we have a full variety of mechanisms for the widest range of customers to be involved with us. And so we'll make sure that if we haven't already got your details, that we make contact with you there and make it work for you, because it's not the first time I've heard the comment that the way we've been set up historically has not worked for the majority of our customers. So thank you, and thanks for typing that in. I appreciate it's difficult in open plan office.
Cheers, Emma. Chris, if we can hear from you.
Can you hear me now?
Absolutely, loud and clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah, my question actually is more like Bola's question. Is connected with the staircasing. So we're made to understand after, getting quotations and the rest of it, that there was some lease agreement which have been allowed to lapse probably over the last 2 or so years, and the lawyers are hard on it to work to resolve it. So it's also very inconvenient when you're planning your life and you are made aware that the company has allowed some leases to expire, and now you are in a very bad situation where you can't staircase because the lawyers have to get back to it and deal with the matter. It's quite inconvenient, to be honest. And also there is another issue. It might not be quite related, but I thought it's worth raising up, because we have raised it up with the different people before. I live in Southend. It's a 3-floor building. So on the top floor where I live, the flue gases come through the ceiling. I don't know how that design was made. So when the gas engineers want to test the flues which come out of the up through the ceiling, they can't. So our boilers have not been tested properly according to legislation for years, since actually they were installed. So it's a great cause for concern to all the residents. If everyone who is on the last floor is affected by what I'm saying now, because there is no way except you bring those guys who can raise the platform to that height of about 20, 30 meters. There is no way you can test the flue gases in that kind of scenario. So we would appreciate if somebody can look into this matter and give some feedback as to what will be the way forward.
Thank you. Thanks for raising those two issues, Chris. I think I'll probably make the same request as I made earlier to Bola. If you could pop a question in for us, write anything you like, and then we can get your full details and address to go through it. Just a reminder, as Paul said at the top of the call, that all of these calls are recorded, so I don't want to ask you to go into sharing lots of personal details more widely than that. But Paul, I didn't know if there's anything else that you wanted to comment on.
No, I was going to say the same thing. Thank you for the question, Chris, and I'm sorry for those two issues, particularly with the point that we've not made it as easy as we should, of course, for the challenge of staircasing. So if you can pop your full name in the Q&A, then we will make sure that we look into that and get back to you on both those issues.
Thank you, Chris. We have one other hand up, which is from Ria Constable. Ria, if you want to search valiantly for the unmute button. Brilliant, excellent.
Right,
what's your question this afternoon? You have done it, Ria. Perfect.
That's all
what's
right
your
then.
question for us?
Right, okay. Yeah, no, it's to do with this merge. I'm a CHP tenant, other side of Chelmsford, in between Malden and Chelmsford. Another thing, Paul, you keep mentioning is that obviously with this merger, there'll be new, money for properties, new homes and things. But I am actually a wheelchair user tenant. So has anyone had any ideas of, does that mean there's going to be more wheelchair accessible properties, people with disabilities? Because it all seems that everyone's mentioning these brand new homes, which are great, but what about us guys that, adaptations? I'm in the middle of having lots of adaptations here, which is great, but I mean, we need to move forwards and have already available adaptations properties. So is that going to be a good sign, or is that going to be less? Are we going to be put back on the bottom of the pile, or how do we move forward with this?
Ria, thank you so much for your question, and good to speak to you again. Sorry if I was being a bit too general with the point around extra new homes. It's really important to me and the whole organisation that we're delivering the homes that are needed across the county by the full range of customers, including making sure that we're always delivering homes that are accessible, that are adaptable, that are lifetime homes, and that I know that we are getting better at that already as CHP with new developments that we look at and making sure they are fit for people throughout life and whatever life brings for them. I also know, and my colleagues hear me say this a lot, that quite often I'm frustrated with the speed that the adaptations process takes. Quite often it's us and the district council and the county council and occupational therapists, and I've got some kind of a personal experience of this with family members living elsewhere in different housing associations that were waiting far too long for that. So it's a real focus of whether we merge or not, Ria, to make sure that we improve in that. I'm really pleased that you're working with us as part of our Customer Voices group, because it's really important to me that we are talking to to and engaging with customers in whatever situations and whatever life brings, to make sure that we're improving on that. So when I talked about building more new homes, just to reiterate, it's homes that are needed by the wider community, rather than just kind of inaccessible properties, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because what you don't want to do is like, okay, yes, merge, but then people's applications are getting pushed further down the pile because you're merged. But then if you see it from another angle, is if you merge, them applications might go through quicker. So it's catch-22, really. I mean, I had to wait. My application for a wet room was put in last October, and without saying too much on here, we've had hiccups along the way, but they're getting rectified now. It's just that I don't want anyone else to be in the same boat, hence why I've joined the DI group to help others so we don't get in this mess again and move forward. So unfortunately, it's a sticky situation. You either do it in, you go through applications quicker, or you do it and people still get put at the bottom of the pile. So it's how we can make a plan moving forwards, rather than people feeling like they're not getting anywhere and they're hitting the brick wall constantly.
Wonderful. No, I absolutely understand that, and it would be great to pick up the conversation more with the DEI group. We are starting to talk finally at the right level with the local authority and the county council to make sure that we can try and unblock the process and make it quicker, because it is a real frustration of mine that it isn't at the moment. So I look forward to continuing that conversation with you.
Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Ria. Thanks for your question. So we've got time if anyone else had any more questions. I can't see any more that have been published. And Bola has got another question. Again, if you want to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Not necessarily a question. Thank you so much. I just wanted to check that you did say my name. I believe I tried to type it in the Q&A box and also in the chat box as well. I'm not sure if you've seen it.
Thanks, Bola. I've certainly got your name. I did private message you back and asked you if you could just pop your address as well. But I've got your full name, so don't worry if you can't.
Brilliant.
Awesome.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
And Myrna, was there something else you wanted to add?
I still don't know.
Oh, can't hear you now.
No?
There you go.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, brilliant.
Excellent.
I'd just like to say that if this merge does go ahead, it means that everybody has to work together. Yeah, we have to work as a unit, all the units that make this merger work. You know, it's just everybody, staff, tenants, the board of directors, everybody has to work in the same direction. And a lot of these problems that we have now need to be sorted. Yeah.
Absolutely, Myrna. It was, in fact, one of the themes when we were talking to employees this week about the importance of solving problems together, and as Ria's just described, positively looking forward to how we can make a difference. So absolutely echo that sentiment. Thank you for expressing it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Myrna. Yeah, absolutely. Really concur with that. And even before we've got to this phase of the customer consultation that we're undertaking and that Estuary is undertaking with their customers, I'm really delighted so far that in the way that our teams have been working together as we've kind of formed the plans to get us this far. So the desire and the goodwill on both sides of the organisation in what is an uncertain time as we potentially come together, the desire and the goodwill is there to work together, because across all of our colleagues and all of Estuary's colleagues, we've got brilliant people that want to work for a housing association because they want to do good and provide great homes and more new affordable homes. So I'm really encouraged with that so far, and I really hope that continues. So thank you for that point.
Brilliant. So my last shout out for any other questions. I don't see any typed in, and just one more hand up. So Jackie, hi Jackie, how are you? If you want to unmute yourself and let us know what your question. I can't hear you just at the minute, Jackie, but if you can find the unmute button. Oh,
Sorry,
perfect. I can hear you.
Ah, that's good.
How are you this afternoon, Jackie?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad. You
Excellent.
too? Both of you?
Not too bad, thank you. What's your
Jolly
question,
good.
Jackie?
Now, someone else asked a very similar question earlier, and I'm afraid didn't quite make sense to me. We have my department, my unit, whatever you want to call me, has been neglected for meetings and such. We don't seem to have had anything coming up or asked anything. So really, we've been a bit useless for the last 4 months, or is it 5 months now? I would like to know whether anything else is being done.
In terms of meetings at the
Meetings,
scheme?
yes.
Ah,
Scheme
okay, Jackie,
meetings,
thank you.
yes.
Scheme meetings. I thought I understood the question, but I just wanted to say it out loud just to double check.
Jackie, sorry, that's been the case. Are you talking about a lack of presence from us completely at your home and your area?
Sheltered housing.
Yeah, it's sheltered housing, isn't it? We've seemed to have been sidelined with having things seen to, sorted, and people coming to see us regularly on a true basis. We were promised someone, nothing's happened since, and we just seem to have been left.
Okay. Well, I'm really sorry to hear that, Jackie. It's especially as I know your home is really not a million miles away from where I'm sat now, and certainly we should be delivering the service where we're regularly visiting all of our sheltered housing schemes at the times that we say we're going to.
Yeah, not wishing to interrupt you, but interrupting
course.
you. This is fine. As you say, I personally here am not a million miles from you,
Yes.
maybe down the road. What about those in Southend? How are you going to manage with them? Are they going to have a monthly meeting with someone? Or are they going to have any meetings?
Yeah, no, and thank you. That's a really good example. You pointed me to where I should have gone in that answer, Jackie, which is
no. Sorry, do continue.
That's okay. That's all right. Yeah, no problem at all. No problem. So it's I touched earlier upon picking up through a merger of picking up the best of both organisations and building upon that. The estuary team at the moment have, I guess, proportionately more sheltered and supported housing than we do at CHP, and it's really important that service continues to grow through the proposed merger. So as we look at all of our services and provision through the proposal to come together, we'll make sure that we build on and improve on what we've both got already and learn from the best from each other. And I will also make sure that we are more visiting your home in your area and more regularly too, Jackie.
Thank
you.
And Myrna. Oh, this is like the test, Myrna.
And you get the last word as well if you can come off mute.
Yeah, is that better?
It is.
Okay. Yeah, just to reiterate that lady's conversation with you, I also attended, I am in sheltered housing, and I attended a meeting about 4 weeks ago now, where we were told that by Christmas they would hope to have in place these new teams that they're setting up.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was maybe what the conversation was related to. So by the end of this year, I think the person running the meeting did say that we would be having some sort of team in position to just deal with sheltered housing. One person in charge and 5 helpers, I believe. So
that's right.
That won't be coming into force till the end of the year,
no,
as far as I'm aware.
But that will help us get back, Manny. Absolutely right. Thank you for reminding me of that. That will help us get back to the point that we have a dedicated part of our housing team in CHP that we'll build on a merger that is focused on our sheltered housing customers. You're absolutely right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Myrna.
Thank you.
Were there any other questions that anyone wanted to ask us? Thanks to Chris and Bowler for popping their details in our Q&A so that we can pick up those particular questions, and for Yasmin for confirming her surname, so we now have a chance of following up on those 3 particular items. Was there anything else that anyone wanted to raise? No?
I think you've got one.
Nicola.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I was just struggling to take myself off of mute there.
I think that's a
Okay.
recurring theme, Nicola. We're all getting much better at unmuting and muting ourselves.
Spend half my life on this darn thing. Okay, on Teams that is. It was just, I popped a note in the chat just off the back of Yasmin's topic, which is also something that I had wanted to bring up as well, but as I was in first, I thought let others have a go. If that can be communicated broadly to all CHP residents, whatever your thoughts are, Paul, and the outcomes you said about rectification as well, I think that's really key. And Yasmin, if you want to connect outside of here, being residents on the same estate, then please get in touch.
Well, that's a lovely offer, Nicola.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
And thanks for following up on that.
No problem. Thank you. Been really useful. Thank you.
You are
Thanks very
absolutely
much.
welcome. I'm glad you found it useful, and I hope that's the case for our other attendees today. My last shout out for anyone who might want to ask us one final question. Otherwise, Paul, I think we have covered lots of bases today and hopefully given people some information that has been useful. Is there anything you wanted to say in wrapping up?
Wonderful. Thank you, Rachel, for coordinating the Q&A session. And like Nicola, I also have regular nightmares of coming off of mute on Teams too. So thank you, everybody, for joining us today. I hope that has been useful to help you give us your views as part of our proposal. You should already have the details for the survey and the QR code that we popped up in the screen. And there are other events, in-person events planned over the course of the next few weeks, and the customer consultation finishes on the 24th of October. So as we are at time, thank you so much for joining us and listening today, and for your participation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your days. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Goodbye, everyone.